Here's why I think the mark of the beast will be done by Muslims. I think it's going to be enforced by people who profess Islam as their religion. And I think the two antichrists that are mentioned in the Bible, I think they are going to be Muslim. And here's why. When you take the religion, Islam, what it essentially is like you're following someone who's an antichrist. Muhammad was an antichrist. He said Jesus wasn't fit for intercession. Only he is. And I'll link that source down below. According to the Sirah, he is a part of Allah. And the word Allah actually is found in Hebrew with one L, and it means curse, which is a name used for Satan. Now, why I think the mark of the beast will be done by Muslims is that Islam, while it may not be declining in rapid rates, you can see on the internet, like, a lot of people are apostates. I'm an apostate. And a lot of people are exposing the truth about Islam. And you have all this media about, Hamas and, what's going on in Israel. And I think in the coming years, in the coming months maybe, Islam will really be exposed. But the thing is, Muslims who are passionate about their faith, who are strong in their faith, quote unquote, they're not going to let that slide. They're going to get all the support they can get because, remember, the government, this world is run by Satan. And if the Muslim God is actually Satan, what do you think the government is going to root for? The Muslims. They're going to support them. They're going to unleash their terrorist campaign. And that's when you'll probably see the beast, okay? The beast is probably going to be the Muslim leader, according to Islamic eschatology's Imam al-Mahdi. That's who I think is going to be the beast. And he might claim to be, the greatest Imam, But I'm not saying this because I think Prophet Muhammad's prophecies are true. I think the hadiths are fabricated and they twist up certain things that were found in the Bible. And since Satan owns Islam, it's like a satanic twist. So if you're familiar with Islamic eschatology, Jesus, the Muslim Jesus, actually he fights the Antichrist inside of Islam, but he also sides with the Mahdi. He prays behind the Mahdi. The Mahdi is a descendant of Prophet Muhammad, and Jesus actually prays behind the descendant of Prophet Muhammad. So you can see like the little twist they got there. But I think the Muslim Jesus is going to be the false prophet in the Bible. So you got two partners in crime there, supremely evil, and they're probably going to, unleash Sharia law in the entire world, possibly in the next 10 years, if not sooner. Possibly the next 10 years. I was watching a few videos, and a lot of people think that the Crusaders are just Christians spreading their Christian propaganda by force. But in reality, it was really as a defense for jihad. It was a defense against jihad. Europeans were protecting their lands from the Muslims who wanted to, pillage, and rape those blonde chicks in Europe. And the Crusades kicked the Muslims' asses. And, now most of the Middle East, well, I've never been to the Middle East, so I can't really speak on that, but a lot of the world is secular. Not for long. One interesting thing is, it's like, I don't know how this is going to play out, of course, only God knows. But, what's going to happen to the children? It's not even funny, it's kind of sad. It's like, of course, any adult who doesn't have a relationship with Jesus at that time is going to take the mark of the beast, because they're going to be chopping people's heads off. They're going to be guillotining people. So the only way out of this is to put your faith in Jesus. And it may not happen all at once, but it's called like the 7 years of great tribulation. So there might be people who go in the wilderness and, eventually the beast and his army finds them and they're forced to take the mark of the beast or die. But yeah, an interesting note is that when Jesus finally comes, the real Jesus, he meets up with the beast and his armies and destroys them all. But in the Bible, they also mention that in the last days, men will be like the people of Noah. It'll be similar to the days of Noah. It says people will be marrying, being given in marriage. So where I'm going with this is that in Sharia law, everyone is required to do jihad. So everyone is basically going to be a militant follower of the beast, whoever takes his mark. So I think that's what's going to happen. And then, Jesus is going to just, curb stomp them, because he's God in the flesh. And the beast is just, a Satan-empowered person. And, yeah, him and the false prophet are going to be thrown in hell. God's not even going to judge them. He's just going to throw them in hell. That's how evil and wicked they are. On the same level as Satan and his angels. Although I think the angels, except for Satan, will be judged. So yeah, it's like... But here's the real tricker here. How many of us truly have faith in Jesus? Because if we don't abide in him, if we live long enough to see the beast and the false prophet and the new world order, we're not going to be strong enough to resist the mark of the beast. Like maybe for a little bit, but if we don't have Jesus in our life, we're still attached to the world, we're going to succumb to that pressure. It's a very, very scary thing. Because if you take the mark of the beast, there's no hope for you ever coming back to God. And it's like, you're probably going to live in a crappy earth. It might be okay for a few years, but after that, it's gonna suck, because your Sharia law can't stand. Like, if my theory is true, it's like, no, Sharia law is just gonna collapse on itself, and everybody's just gonna kill each other. It's gonna be one wicked world, man. It's like most people are gonna take it. most people are gonna take it. And I think a lot of people won't take it, but it's no joke, man. The real, and it's so funny how this world that we live in, especially if you're like in the West, you're in some ways sheltered from death. Like, death isn't like a common thing. Of course, people have funerals and people get killed all the time. It's like, for the most part, you're kind of sheltered from death. We live in a relatively peaceful environment. It's like in those times, like, you're gonna get executed on the spot. Like, well, you're gonna have a choice, obviously, because nobody could really take your freedom of choice. It's funny how that works. It's like, it's funny how this all works. It's like, you have a choice to take the mark, but if it's like they can't force you. They won't force you. But like, if you don't take the mark, they're gonna kill you. I'm kind of getting off point here. But yeah, may the grace of Jesus be with us all. Amen.